Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Oh, yeah. Get it.
I saw you were with them last night. I saw you were with them last night.
Yeah, that's engaging time coming to a venue near you over the next several months. Sean, I don't know about you, but I know I wrote that song. I get a lot of compliments when I've played it in places. But I sit here every time that song goes. I'm sitting here dancing in my chair, going to the beat. That's a good song. I don't care. I don't care who you are. That's a good song.
Even though I wrote it, I don't care. It's a good
song. That's a good song. So anyway, welcome back. little self-deprecation there.
If I must say so myself, that was a darn fine song.
That's exactly right. Yeah. By the way, I just wrote another one. I'm not going to bore you with the details yet, but I'll just leave it with this. It's called "You Blow Me Away," and it's a Christian song, and I should have it done in a couple weeks, and it's pretty cool. Anyway, welcome back to Your Insurance Corner. Sean Hauser, Bill Mix here at 101.5 FM, WLCB, Slade's Corner, Wisconsin. We're comparing Medicare Advantage plans from 2024 and 2025. And the reason why we're doing this is there was been so much, my word, scare tactics going on with regard to major changes coming down the pike for prescriptions in particular, and how that might impact Medicare Advantage plans, since they're all kind of hermetically sealed with prescriptions and dental and vision and a bunch of other things, as opposed to a Medicare Supplement plan, which is medical only, and if you want dental and vision separately, you have to go get that separately, and a prescription program separately. More freedom of movement with the Medicare supplements for sure, more premium for sure, but the out-of-pockets, as you'll see in a second, significantly less in most cases than a Medicare Advantage plan. But I left with, I was going to go see if my doctor was in any of these networks, and I checked 2 of the 3. My doctor was not in the network, and these were this was the top, say the top 2 companies, and then I literally went to page 5 in 2025. I went to page 5, which would be the probably the most expensive plan, if you will, maybe bigger network. My doctor wasn't in that plan either. I'm like, grumble, that's not good. And now I didn't bother asking my doctor if he takes Medicare. I know he takes Medicare. I just don't know if he takes Medicare Advantage plans. What I can also tell you folks is that there are some medical groups out there, I'm not going to name who, but there are some medical groups that stop taking Medicare supplements and only take Medicare Advantage plans. Sean, why would you do that if you were a doctor, do you think?
Why would I take what again?
Why would you sign up for a Medicare Advantage program instead of a Medicare Supplement plan?
And why would I take one versus the other if I were the doctor? I think it would probably have to do with how much I'm going, what I'm going to get paid.
Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Doctors get paid more money in a Medicare Advantage plan than they do in a Medicare Supplement environment. And if they're involved in a PPO or HMO, they've got a clientele that is going to be hermetically sealed to them, so they've got a bit of a captive audience as to who they're serving. So the insurance companies can ante up the per diems to the doctor and the reimbursements to the doctor, and a Medicare Advantage plan. They can't do that with Medicare because the federal government sets the per diems, not the insurance carrier. So, but my doctor was not in there. Now, before I get into the out-of-pocket piece, let me just tell you that when you go on to Medicare.gov and you start doing your homework, Oh, I didn't tell you what else happened when I looked for my doctor. So there's a link that says look for your provider. So I clicked the provider, and this one, it happened to be the number one position. And it took me to the carrier's website. Now, you're already in the Medicare.gov website, which is tricky enough. It's not complicated, but if you've not been there before, there's some moving parts, and it takes some time to understand what you're reading and how to read it. But then you're then moved to the insurance company's website, which has a whole bunch of other moving parts. And I think, Sean, that was by design, because if you click your provider, you're looking for your provider, and he or she happens to be in the network. The idea, if I'm the insurance carrier, I'm thinking, well, if Sean clicks pick a doctor and his doctor's in the network, he's going to stop looking, and he's just going to sign up for my plan. And that's probably the thinking, because it's the path of least resistance. And at the end of the day, in order to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan, you have to do it through the insurance company's website. You cannot do it through Medicare.gov. You have to go to the insurance company's website. Well, their website has other moving parts that created more conflict and consternation on my part to go, okay, now what am I looking at? What's all this other stuff that I have to do? They're asking me to click this button, click this. What, I want to add these things? How much is, my premium is $0. All of a sudden I'm adding these things and my premium is going up. Or my out-of-pockets are going up. Then I wanted to look at dental and vision. And on Medicare.gov, Sean, they don't tell you anything. They give you, I don't know if I printed up a page that said it. It's not on that one. Let me see if it's on this one. Hold on a second. There's a drop-down. And the drop-down says limit supply. That's what it says. Limit supply. If you hit that drop-down, you get a bunch of gibberish that basically says, go to the carrier website. So going to Medicare.gov is going to give you high-level information. Premium, your out-of-pocket, maybe some of the moving parts as to co-pays and co-insurance and whether or not, the plans that I looked at, nobody had a deductible, so you just had out-of-pockets. You didn't have a premium, so the only thing you can measure this by is what care, am I going HMO or PPO? Is my doctor in the network? That's all you can pretty much do on Medicare.gov, and then it forces you to go to the carrier's website to do more of a deep dive into this thing. So if you're trying to do this on your own, and folks, I do this for a living now. I don't sell Medicare Advantage plans. I'm thinking about it, but right now it's not happening. And I was going to do this. I have ADD or ADHD. I don't have the patience to go through this. And I suspect if you pick somebody who's 79 years old and they've got all the time in the world because they're retired, there will come a point where they don't have time to go through this either, because the stuff starts to blend together like mishmash, like you're putting together a mashed potato pie, and it's all blending together, and you don't even know what pieces and parts you're doing, and now it's all blended. You don't even know what you're looking at. This is complicated. So what I haven't mentioned yet is the out-of-pocket. So for 2024, I told you the one plan was $2,300, dropped to $2,150. The next plan that I chose in 2024 was not available until 10 or 11 down the line. It moved way down. So a different carrier popped in. And so in that context, Sean, the out-of-pocket went from $5,750 to $6,200. So the out-of-pockets went up. Again, no premium, no deductible. Then I looked at position number 3. This was an HMO. The HMO in 2024 was not to be found until about 10 or 15 rows down the list. So I picked another one, and this one I went all the way to the end. thinking that, okay, I'm going to pick the most expensive plan, or what I think is the most expensive plan, maybe the most robust PPO plan, and I was crossing my fingers that my doctor was in the network, and he wasn't. Take a guess what the out-of-pocket is on this one.
Oh, I think you're setting me up. I think it's going to be big.
$10,000.
Oof.
$10,000. So I say this with due respect. It's part of the reason I don't sell Medicare Advantage plans. Because there's a part of me that goes, you're buying the premium, you're not buying the product. And everything is about the contract. And I'm not here to poo-poo them. You have to go into these things wide open. And I totally respect the idea, well, Bill, it doesn't cost me any money. The Medicare Supplement at age 79 costs a lot. It's $250 a month. I get it. I understand. But if you get sick, that $3,000 of premium and the $240 deductible is going to look like a godsend, especially since you don't have to worry about what doctors are coming to visit you. This is a PPO, which you would think is broad enough that a lot of doctors would be in it. At least mine wasn't. This is not to say that others aren't. There certainly are. But the out-of-pocket that you're subject to is $10,100 for the year for in and out of network services. That's what you're subject to. And if you stayed in network, you're still subject to $67.50. Now, I'm going to just break down that one just to give you a sense of things. So they include dental, vision, hearing aids, no transportation help, meaning that they're not going to come and get you and take you to a doctor visit. They'll have fitness, worldwide emergencies, which what's the word I'm looking for? I'm suspect. I'd like to see what that actually looks like. Over-the-counter drugs not covered. In-home support services not covered. Home and bathroom safety devices not covered. And in fact, with almost no exceptions, none of the carriers in 2025 covered any of that stuff. Meals on Wheels in this plan not covered. Annual physicals covered. Telehealth covered. Periodontics covered. Endodontics not covered. So you buy a plan and you're thinking, I'm going to get a dental plan, but you can't figure out what the dental plan is unless you go to the carrier website. You can't figure out what the vision plan is until you go to the carrier website. And then you're going to have to find out as your dentist or your eye doctor in those networks. So it's not that simple. I will grant you that if you have to pay more money to, have a plan that's simpler to use, it's gonna be a pay me now, pay me later. I have just as a separate matter, but kind of related to this out of pocket. We have a family friend of ours who got really, really sick up in northern Wisconsin about a week or two ago. And as we speak right now, our prayers are with the family. She's getting better. But I think they had an HMO, Sean. Now, this was an emergency. There's no two ways about it. She had to have 2, maybe 3 surgeries when she when they stopped where they stopped. And I'm certainly not involved in their health care questions, but I'm wondering what their HMO, because they have an HMO, I'm wondering what the out-of-pocket is for their plan. And I'm wondering what kind of headaches and hassles they're going to have when the bills start to get processed. And they should be covered because this was a life-threatening, it was legitimately a life-threatening emergency. So they should be covered. But I can tell you there's going to be some butt kicking here by the bureaucrats behind the scenes going, well, maybe you shoulda, woulda, coulda, shoulda. And just cause some heartburn and heartache for our friends. I'm curious if they're going to be wanting to switch out of a Medicare Advantage plan into a Medicare Supplement after this, because she's going to have ongoing care now for the foreseeable future, including a lot of therapy, occupational and physical therapy, to get back on her feet to the extent she even can. The other issue, and I don't know how this would work with Medicare in all honesty, but she needs to travel back from where they're at in northern Wisconsin back to Chicago. That means they're going to need an air ambulance or an ambulance to take them for a 5 or 6 hour drive. Now, I've got personal experience in this. My dad took my mom from, I think she was in Clearwater, and they flew her back on a propeller plane because they had a supplement and Medicare wouldn't cover it, would not cover it. So my dad spent $12,000 to get my mom back home. I suspect my friends are going to have the same problem, that Medicare is not going to cover the ambulance ride. Unless, of course, they're in an HMO and they make the case.
That's going to be expensive, too, because I've had people that were transferred or transported 20 miles, $1,000.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's 20 miles. Now you're adding, 300 miles or a plane ride, and it's got to be with paramedical people and et cetera. So when you're going through these plans, folks, it's a detailed process, and you want to work with somebody who knows the contract and, in my opinion, can sell both a Medicare Advantage. If you're going to want to look at Medicare Advantage, then you want to talk to somebody who can sell a Medicare Advantage and a Medicare Supplement. Now, that might fly in the face of what I do. I'm more than happy to help. I just can't sign you up. But I can sign you up for Medicare. It's your choice. It's the consumer's choice. Because it's their, as I like to say, it's your checkbook, not mine. You have to be happy with your choice, because once you're in a Medicare Advantage plan, with a couple of exceptions, you're in that plan for the rest of the year. You're stuck there. You cannot get out with 2 exceptions. 1, you've been transferred to a nursing home, or 2, you moved out of the area. Usually that's a 50-mile or more, or longer radius. So these plans are complicated, a lot of moving parts. I'm just looking at, I printed up this thing, Sean. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages highlighting 3 different plans, because that's all the system will let you compare is 3 different plans. In this particular one, it's 1 HMO and 2 PPO plans. All 3 plans, no premium. All 3 plans, no deductible. All 3 plans, no prescription deductible. Out of pocket, $2,150. In 1 HMO, $6,200. In 1 PPO, $10,100. And another PPO. Then you got all these little bells and whistles about what's covered, but they don't tell you specifically, and until you go to the carrier website, you don't know what they're giving you. So it's a process. This is why I'm saying you want to work with somebody that at least knows the Medicare supplements that you're looking at, or Medicare Advantage plans that you're looking at. And if you want to compare the Medicare Advantage and use that one person and another person for a supplement, knock yourself out. I can respect that. That's where I'd sit. Or pick somebody who can work with both. Now, I want to tell you, full disclosure, brokers get paid way, way, way more money selling Medicare Advantage plans than they will selling Medicare supplements. I'm just telling you. The commissions are double or triple what they get for Medicare Advantage plans versus Medicare supplement plans. It's a great living if you get a couple thousand people under your wing, and if you lose 1 or 2, it's no big deal. You make a lot of money. So you have to have your radar on, and just to give you a sense of things. So diagnostic MRI radiology, copays can range from $0 to $195 on the HMO, $0 to $275 on 1 PPO, $0 to $300 on a different PPO. Emergency room copay $140, another one $140, another one $125. Urgent care $65 or $55. In hospital coverage, this is where the rub happens. $195 a day for what days 1 through 7, so call it $200. That's $1,400. That's one plan. The PPO plan, $335 a day for the first 7 days. So 300 times 7, that's $2,100 plus another 35 times 7 is, what is that, about $210, $220, something like that. So you're looking at $2,300, $2,400 if you end up in the hospital for 7 days or more. The other plan, the most expensive plan, Sean, $370 a day for the first 6 days. That's just hospitalization. Prescription hearing aids range from $700 to $1,000. One plan, $400 to $1,800 on another, and $700 to $1,000 on another. So what's your hot button? Is it your out-of-pocket? Is it the premium? Is it the deductible? Is it silver sneakers? I hear this all the time, Sean. It's silver sneakers. I'm healthy. I only take one medication. It's generic, so it doesn't cost me anything, and I love my silver sneakers.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
Cool.
Talking to people I know, they love that part of those plans.
Yep.
Whether they go or not.
Well, that's a different problem. That's a different. What we also hear is that the moment you start using your Medicare Advantage plan, you're looking for the key to unlock the door to get out. Because you found out how the moving parts actually work. And again, I'm not poo-pooing them, I'm just telling you what I've been told from other people that have been in plans like this. They work fine for simple stuff. The moment things get complicated and you want to go see a particular doctor who accepts Medicare, but he's at the Mayo Clinic, and you're stuck with a plan because you're in an HMO, because you made a decision to go HMO on a Medicare Advantage plan, you have to wait. And then you have to hope that you can clear underwriting when you try to go to a Medicare supplement when the open enrollment comes around, because here's the other part of this. You can only switch at open enrollment for the Medicare Advantage plans. You cannot get out. And when you do try to go to a Medicare Advantage plan, you're going to have to go through medical evidence of insurability, and they can decline you. I've already seen it happen. I had one client who had neuropathy and diabetes, and she got declined. So unlike Obamacare, where they'll accept you no matter what, Medicare supplements can say thanks but no thanks. So you really have to have your radar on. And then again, keep in mind, you want all these other things. You want the dental, you want the vision. The only way to know is if you're doing your own homework, you got to go navigate the carrier's website. All I can say is good luck. And if you're using an agent who sells Medicare Advantage and knows their way around, that's a good thing. Take advantage of him or her, and they know how to navigate those things better. And then make a decision. Are your doctors in the network or not in the network? How do you feel about these things? What's your travel history going to be like? Are you a snowbird? Or are you locked and loaded in Dayton, Ohio, and you're cool with that? You just have to pay attention. This is complicated. This is not simple. And just one last thing, I'll say this. Part of the reason right now, Sean, that I don't sell Medicare Advantage plans, there's two reasons. One, every phone call I take has to be recorded when I'm talking to somebody who wants to talk to me about Medicare Advantage. Every phone call. And I'm not set up to do that. Now, there are carriers out there that will help me do that if I pass certain tests, but that being said, I'm not set up to do that. Here's a second reason, and this is the one that really rubs me the wrong way. So I'm going to sell you a Medicare Advantage plan, and then you and I are going to transition to an estate planning discussion, and I have to send you away for 2 days because the government says I can't talk to you about any other product for 2 days. And I'm professionally offended by that. I know there are scumballs in our industry that will sell anything to anybody. But I'm also offended on behalf of my clients because what I just heard was the government thinks you're too stupid to be able to navigate from one discussion to another. And there are some people that couldn't do it. But I can tell you, I've got clients who probably should have that 2-day space so that you can clear the air. And I've got other clients who can navigate through that stuff as if it were water, no big deal. So that's the show on Medicare Advantage, how to compare what you're looking at, what to look for, etc. Sean, any comments or concerns, considerations, anything?
No, can't wait to see what it's going to be when I get to the age where I have to start applying. And
well,
can't imagine it's going to get any easier.
As I said, I can't die before the rest of you people. I got to take care of you all.
All right. Well,
I will be around. It's a deal. Sean, thank you as usual for coming on, and I greatly appreciate you participating as best you can through all my diatribes. Folks, next week we're going to get into annuities, so stay tuned for that. This is 101.5 FM, Slade's Corner, Wisconsin. Your Insurance Corner will be back next week. Have a great night, everybody.